The Youth COVID-19 Response Initiative is a youth-led and youth-focused project facilitated by the Trinidad Youth Council, Tobago Youth Council, and the Two Cents Movement to amplify the voices of young people nationally. We're bringing together the ideas and recommendations of youth to the National Committee responsible for the roadmap to recovery. This morning on the line, I'll be chatting with Jean-Claude Conant, who's the Managing Director of and founder of the Two Cents Movement. I will also be chatting with Latoya Roberts Thomas, who is the president of the Tobago Youth Council. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
So thanks for joining us this morning. And to start with, let's talk about the Two Cents Movement and how has the organization been, coping during this time of COVID.
Well, it's been a bit challenging. So far, we've been working from home and we've been trying to figure out how to do things digitally. Last week, we actually launched a digital poetry slam called Blocked. It's where we have people competing and they're recording poems from home, submitting it, and users vote online. And we've launched some regional workshops. So actually, it amplified our ability to do regional work in the sense of creating workshops that not just accessed here, but accessed throughout the Caribbean.
Right.
We taken it positively. I mean, the National Poetry Slam and a lot of our core outreach in schools has been affected. But right now, our key work is to focus on what could be digitized and what new opportunities there are, as well as to try to mitigate some of the challenges around what COVID brings to us currently.
And in regards to the Tobago Youth Council, how have you adapted to the current situation?
Well, the current situation has been very challenging because most youth organizations really function by meeting physically. So for now, a lot of the groups have been trying to have online sessions,
Right.
which has its own challenges. And I think young persons, as much as we're digital and on online space, sometimes maybe the level of productivity or the interest may not always be there. So we have been challenged a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine. So, as many other organizations would be challenging this time right now. So, when it comes, you mentioned the initiative that the Two Cents Movement has been doing, almost like a poetry competition online, which speaks for itself. But what have you done together now, the Two Cents Movement and the Tobago Youth Council, in regards to this joint initiative?
Well, this is the first time that we are having such a mega collaboration with a lot of youth organizations within the country. In terms of a few weeks ago, when we heard the Prime Minister announce that new committee that is supposed to lead the road to recovery, there was a bit concern among the youth population that the development of Trinidad and Tobago means that a voice of the young persons must be heard. Because when young people speak, it's not from a deficit point of view or delinquency point of view, but we need to understand that young persons are part of this country, are a significant part of the economic development of the country and for sustainability and going forward. So it was a bit challenging to see that the government has invested so much in young persons, whether through GATE, whether through the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs and the work that they have been doing to highlight positive young persons who have been making economic gains in the country. And it was really disheartening to see that not one person, maybe within the category of under 40 within Trinidad and Tobago, could have found a space on that committee for longevity.
Right.
But at the end of the day, our voice still must be heard, our recommendations still must be accounted for. And as a result of that, through the Trinidad Youth Council, the Tobago Youth Council, Two Cent Movement, and other youth advocates and activists throughout the country, we are pulling together the recommendations of the young persons because they have significant contributions to be made to the way that we see Trinidad and Tobago going forward, post COVID and beyond.
Yeah, the youth are the ones who will inherit what the generation before has done. And, it is not always good things that the youth will inherit. What are some of the topics that, really affect the youth that are being raised in this forum?
Right. So about a week and a half ago, the Trinidad Youth Council had an online session, and one of the major impacts that the young population is worried about is the decisions as it relates to education. How
Right.
do we define education going forward? Everybody is glad about the online platform throwing it up in the air, but we need to realize that there are different learning disabilities, different learning styles, and we really want to make sure that the government looks to the young persons for recommendations on how they see the education is being framed going forward in the future. In terms of economic activity and labor, we also need to be concerned about the approach with that. Because at the end of the day, the working population majority of it comprised of the youth population. So we need to be conscious about what are the decisions that is going to be made that will affect the labor force and how does that affect young persons. There are a variety of issues as relates to arts and culture too, youth in innovation. We understand that the paper system can't work anymore in Trinidad and Tobago. So how do you incorporate young ideas, innovators, social changer ideas to that whole digital transformation? Those are important facts that need to be considered
Definitely.
in the recommendations going
Definitely
forward.
important factors, and we are going to continue that conversation because, again, the youth is the future heirs to the world that we have right now, and of course, their issues and the use. I myself am a young person. Yeah, our issues are very pertinent now and for the future. So, thank you for joining us this morning. We are going to continue this conversation at a later date. But that now brings us to the end of the program. So, Elisa, it has been fantastic.
It has been an excellent program. And if you missed it, remember you can go back online and check us on the Now Morning Show Facebook page. And you can catch up if you've missed it, or share, follow, and be kept up to date. Carrie, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yes,
I'll
tomorrow.
see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Remember, make a difference today now. Bye.